Hi, this is Sweet June coming back at you with another video. I want to talk about somebody need to hear this. Um, just a message. I did a video about this topic quite a while ago, but I'm gonna think this it needs to be revisited. Because I you know, I've been a single mother for many years. I was a single mother for many years. I like to think that I've acquired some knowledge at my age, and but anyway, having a man, a baby, don't keep no man. Somebody need to hear this. You can't hold on to no man by having a baby by him. Okay, somebody need to hear this. It is the oldest trick in the book. You can't hold on to no man by having his baby. Because if they feel like you if they feel like they're being manipulated or they feel like they're being trapped in some type of way, they're gonna bounce. When men get under pressure, they bounce. Particularly black men. I don't mean to stereotype black men, but it is what it is. A lot of black men in our community does that. Not bashing, not stereotyping, but well, the numbers speak for themselves. You have a high percentage of single mothers in the black community. Well, they didn't get that way by themselves. And you have men that have children by multiple women. And the reason why they have children by multiple women, because they're the type that uh, when the going gets tough, when it starts getting hot in the kitchen, they ready to bounce. Or women thinking that if I have this man's baby, then maybe he'll stay with me. It is the oldest trick in the book. Now, I was accused of doing such a thing. Uh, do I look like I have to do something like that? First of all, I was smarter than that one. I was smarter than that. um, Having a baby is not going to keep no man. Bottom line. Because if he, particularly if he didn't want children, if he doesn't want children to begin with, and you get pregnant by him, if you are sexually active with a man and he doesn't want any children, um, he's not going to stay with you, period. Um, Sometimes it's a situation to where he might not want a baby by you. You know, men's thinking is their thinking is a lot different from ours. Men don't think like we do. I think a lot of women make the fatal mistake of thinking that men think like we do. Their thinking is totally different from ours. Totally different from ours. And they don't think like we do. They don't think like we do. And so you got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know the mentality of the man that you're dealing with, regardless of whether it's a casual relationship or, keep trying to bite my lip. Regardless of whether it's a casual relationship or uh, you call yourself being in a long-term relationship, you gotta know the mindset of the man that you're dealing with, and then you gotta know his history. If he got a lot of baby mamas, okay, well that's a red flag right there. If he has more than one or two baby mamas, okay, well that's a red flag right there. That'll let you know that well, I mean, depending on what the situation, because sometimes if a man has a couple baby mamas, doesn't necessarily mean that, it depends on whether he has a relationship with those children, if he's trying to take care of those children. I mean, you have to weigh all those factors. But if a man does not want a child, particularly if he expresses that, and then you get pregnant anyway, then you have to suffer the consequences of if that man leaves you, then you have to suffer the consequences of raising this child on your own. Because when I got pregnant with my youngest son, of course, it wasn't that type of situation because I knew better than that. But, he wasn't the type that was going to stick around. And we didn't really have that type of relationship. And he bounced. Didn't want nothing to do with my son. you know. So you have to know. When I speak about these things, I speak from experience, and you have to know the mentality of the man that you're dealing with, and you have to know. First of all, if a man is truly committed to you, he gonna put a ring on it. If a man is truly committed to you and he wants a future with you, he gonna put a ring on it. First of all, he's gonna be talking about putting a ring on it. He gonna be trying to put a ring on it if he's truly committed. And I always advocate on my channel, that women should be waiting till they get married to have children. You know, um, because and that doesn't mean that it's a guarantee that because he still could bounce even after you marry him, but you got a little bit more of a guarantee there than you do when if you're just particularly if you haven't known him that long. And so a lot of women make that mistake is thinking that they can have a baby and they're thinking they're sealing the deal. And that doesn't seal the deal. You think if they have a baby, then that's going to seal the deal. A baby always doesn't make a relationship. Sometimes it weakens a relationship. That's the biggest misconception that a lot of women have. They think that having a baby is going to bring them and the man closer together. But you can't build no house on no shaky foundation. If the foundation is shaky to begin with, if you have a weak foundation to begin with, you try to build a house on it, it's gonna collapse. It's not gonna withstand anything. So you can't build no house on no shaky foundation. So if the relationship is shaky to begin with, if your relationship is not stable to begin with, and then you go to having a baby, then it's gonna collapse. It's not gonna sustain. You're not gonna be able to sustain it. So I think that's the biggest misconception. A lot of women think, well, if I have this baby, it's gonna bring us closer together. Sometimes it pushes you further apart. That's what happened with me and my oldest son, Dad. It after I had my son, my oldest son is like we just grew further apart, you know. And not to bash him or anything, but he just uh, wasn't there for me like he should have been. So sometimes you don't realize things until after you. Sometimes you don't know certain things about a man until after you have the baby, but sometimes the signs are there, and you're either too young and naive to see it, or you just too in love to see it. Because as they say, love is blind, and so. But having a baby is not going to seal the deal with that man, unless he is if unless he is truly committed to you, that he done married you, and y'all done talked about family planning, y'all done talked about having a child together, and y'all mutually on the same page. Y'all gotta both be on the same page. And, there's couples that they both on the same page. This is what they both want. They both on the same page. Unless y'all in a marriage situation and y'all both on the same page, then that's a different situation. But if y'all ain't on the same page, and everything, and especially if he done said that he don't want another child, or you don't know if he wants another child, or whether he already has other children, and y'all not in a stable, committed relationship, You're putting yourself at risk of winding up being a single mother. If you have other children already, you're putting yourself in a situation to where you're going to be a single mother again to more kids. And it's going to put, and if you guys, some of you have watched my channel on a regular basis, I've done a lot of other video topics talking about single motherhood and the stresses of single motherhood. Being a single mother is no joke. It is no joke. It affects you mentally, spiritually if you let it. Physically, I think that's part of the reason why I'm so broke down now. Because all the years that I had to work and take care of, I had so many different jobs trying to hold it down. It's not natural for a woman to be doing everything. It is not it's not what we're supposed to be doing. It is not natural for us to do that. We are supposed to have a male head. We are supposed to have a protector and a provider. And when you don't have that, you got to grind even harder. I had to grind even harder because I didn't have that male head. And so I had to overcompensate. What happens is when you don't have that male head and you got children, you got to overcompensate because you got to make up for him not being there. So you got to grind even harder. And the more children that you have, the more detrimental that it is. The harder that you got to grind. And even having a one child can be a struggle. And so the more children you have, the more also you could be putting yourself in a situation to where you're digging yourself a deeper hole as far as in poverty. You could be putting yourself deeper and deeper in poverty. I did a video talking about that quite a while back. You could be going deeper into poverty the more kids you have. Because it's harder to get, the more children you have, the more difficult it is for you to get out of poverty. And it becomes a vicious cycle. And I like to give the analogy of poverty being a deep pit. And like you falling down a deep pit and having a hard time getting out of this deep pit. And I like to give that analogy. And that's what poverty is. It's like a deep pit. It's so hard to get out of. So it's you got to grind even harder. And so it just makes things more difficult. So you have to make sure that you have that stable relationship before you bring forth any more children. And as I always say, 6 figures. You need 6 figures. If you don't have 6 figures and a husband, don't need no more kids. You don't need them. Plain and simple, So somebody need to hear this. Having a baby, you can't hold on to no man by having no baby. Plain and simple. Ain't gonna do it. Once he gets under pressure, when the going gets tough and it start getting hot in that kitchen, he gonna bounce. In most cases, if you don't have a stable relationship. All right, hit me up in that comment section. Hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Until the next video, peace and love. This is Sweet Jen.